All right, black folks, this is a hard truth from a black conservative, but let me tell you, people are tired of y'all. White people are tired of black people. This country, America, is tired of y'all. They have given you chance after chance. They have pumped billions of dollars into affirmative action. They've done the BLM riots. They've cried the golden casket tears for George Floyd. They've been through all of the black propaganda, and white people are tired of you. They are not here for you anymore. They're not here for you telling them how to speak, how to think, how you are supposed to address, how they're supposed to address us. They are tired of being told who they're supposed to vote for. They are tired of being told how they're supposed to speak and think and all of these different things. So I am telling you, black people, that white people are tired of you. And the reason that this affects you is that black people need white people for virtually everything in society. They need us for absolutely nothing. White people do not need black people for anything. So if you do not move through whatever your professional life is, aware of the fact that white people are tired of y'all, this era is going to be very, very difficult for you.
At this point, the only way that I can harbor any sort of respect for a black person is if they prove in some sort of way that they aren't completely obsessed with being black. I've been a grown-ass man for long enough to know that there's absolutely nothing a black person can teach me. I don't care to view history through your black lens. I don't care to be enlightened to your overly skewed, overly warped view of things like slavery, which is really just rooted in your need for an excuse. You know, the whole Anthony Johnson this, transatlantic slave trade that. I don't see what any of that has to do with how you are now. The whole like white people invented racism, it's just like it's so below me. All right, like, because when it comes to what we did invent, all right, we invented the railroad. We invented the internet. We're establishing the foundations of interplanetary travel. Like, I mean, it's just like white people, we have bigger fish to fry than to sit here and listen to how you think slavery is an adequate excuse as to why you can't be trusted with a self-checkout line.
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
White people do not hate black people. But white people is tired of the degenerate behavior that is coming out of the black community. They're tired of all the whining and crying coming from the black community. And they're tired of black people not doing anything about their own issues. And I know black people are going to say, well, take your ass to a sundown town. But have you been to y'all neighborhoods lately? Those are sundown towns. And the point that I'm trying to make is that your everyday white person that is in your local supermarket, they are not sitting there thinking about what can I do to make this black person's life worse. The fact is, black people seems to have a problem with this top 1%, the people at the top. And quite frankly, white people have a problem with these people as well. And I think white people just know that black people are more than capable of being productive members of society, and they can see outside looking in that we're choosing not to do better. We're choosing to be a part of the system. And quite frankly, white people have been trying to.
I agree with her wholeheartedly. You gotta stop with the victim mindset. White people are not the reason why you're not ahead in life. They're not the reason why you can't do this. They're not the reason why you can't do that. And we gotta stop playing the slavery role. Stop talking about reparations. Stop talking about white privilege. And come together as one. Because guess what? My white sister might have information that I need, and my black sister might have information that my white sister needs. But when we come together in unity, it all makes it work. We come together as love, in love, you guys. United we stand, divided we fall, y'all. Heck, cannot race. Love y'all.
White people do not hate black people. But white people is tired of the degenerate behavior that is coming out of the black community. They're tired of all the whining and crying coming from the black community. And they're tired of black people not doing anything about their own issues. And I know black people are going to say, well, take your ass to a sundown town. But have you been to y'all neighborhoods lately? Those are sundown towns. And the point that I'm trying to make is that your everyday white person that is in your local supermarket, they are not sitting there thinking about, what can I do to make this black person's life worse? The fact is, black people seems to have a problem with this top 1%, the people at the top. And quite frankly, white people have a problem with these people as well. And I think white people just know that black people are more than capable of being productive members of society, and they can see outside looking in that we're choosing not to do better. We're choosing to be a part of the system. And quite frankly, white people have been trying to tell black people for years that the Democratic Party is not for them, but black people with their heads up their own asses will not listen, and they just call them racist. White people and black people built this country together, and I think it's about time we start having some respect for each other.
White people in America are getting to a point in this country where they don't give a fuck about black people. And I'm not saying like they hate black people. It's more, they're tired of the whining and crying, and we have to tiptoe around everything. Oh, we've got to, Blackie's gonna cry if we say these words. We can't do it. Bob, don't say that. Black man's gonna be mad. They're gonna get tired of that shit, and they are getting tired of it. And what I don't want to be is in America, we just bounce back every 50 years to who can be the most racist in the country. I don't want to live in that America. Black people, so this means you start taking accountability for your actions and stop blaming white people for everything and stop pushing white people to the point where they're like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have freed the slaves.
It genuinely gives zero about your guys' feelings, and I will come on here and say all the uncomfortable truths that everybody knows is true, but absolutely nobody will talk about. Black people are the most racist individuals that there is in 2025. As a white person, I certainly can't go to a black community and feel safe. But when they come to white communities, it's like they're in Disneyland. I used to be an addict, so every time I go down to Newark, I would have to make sure I was strapped. I don't think they have to feel the same way about going out in a white community. Matter of fact, they can come here and say whatever they want. They can call me white boy this, white boy that, white whatever the and I'm just simply not going to comply with the double standard. I genuinely do not care one bit about your guys' feelings, and I'll tell you the truth. And the truth is, in 2025, white kids are being raised to be accepting individuals, and it's not the other way around. And everybody knows that.
And he's absolutely right. I gotta be objective. I gotta call a spade a spade. And I think that there is some nuance here, so let's go ahead and get the pleasantries out of the way. Of course, there are some still racist white people. Of course, there are racist black people. Of course, there are some white people that raise their children to be a little bit more demonic. And of course, there are black people to raise their children to be a little bit more demonic. So nobody's a monolith, and when we talk about the majority, not the minority. So now that we got the pleasantries out of the way, let's ask ourselves this question. Is it the truth? Is it the truth, and why? And I think that the why is what we then explore after we evaluate if it's the truth. And from my perspective, as a black person that, understand that we have to be a part of the Democrat plantation, and, that the label, because be honest with you, I get called out of my name because I'm objective enough to actually see the truth from what it is, and I divest myself from the idea that all white people are bad, or all Jewish people are bad, or all this is bad. And so when we then get rid of that mentality, you start to see it. The veil is lifted from your eyes, and if you go into some of these households and you talk amongst these circles, and white people are now being able to see it for themselves because racist black people feel comfortable saying whatever it is that they want to say. And when he even described the whole idea of they can say white boy this, white boy that, if you say black boy this, black boy that as a white person, you are 1,000% going to be labeled as racist. White people are labeled as racist before they ever even open up their mouth. If black people think you stare at them wrong, you racist. If you didn't get the job, you racist. If you are called out on your behavior on a Carnival cruise ship, oh, I can't believe they don't want the black dollar. You will never hear openly people say, I can't believe they don't want the white dollar. You know what I'm saying? And so The litmus test is always if you don't feel comfortable with somebody doing to you what you.
Black fatigue is real. Everybody is tired of black people, but it's two specific types of black people that everyone is tired of. Number one, everybody is tired of loud, ghetto, and ratchet, and violent, and mean, and angry all the time. Everybody is tired of them. Nobody wants to deal with them. Even other black people do not want to deal with these people. You know when you see them in public, you know when they're going to give you attitude at the CVS. Everybody knows it and they want to avoid it. The second group of black people that everybody is tired of is this sort of like fake black bougie intelligentsia who kind of like walks around telling everybody how they're supposed to think or speak or act when it comes to anything black. These are the most privileged black people in the world. These people have built enormous platforms and have so much money, and yet they are still perpetual victims all the time. And all they ever do is lecture white people about how to talk to or about black people, and then they lecture other black people if they don't talk or think or speak in ways in which they approve. Black fatigue is real. Everybody is so tired of both of these groups of black people that they don't know what to do. So yeah, black fatigue is real, and I got it.
There was a white woman who has now since deleted her video talking about black fatigue and how she and the rest of society are so fed up with the ghetto and ratchet behavior, the entitlement, the victimhood. Her words, not mine. Couple of things. One, black fatigue is a real thing, but it's not what that lady was saying. Black fatigue is the emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by the daily stress of living under systemic racism and its consequences. So the black community has black fatigue due to the oppression they've lived under in this country since its inception. Two, it never ceases to amaze me how little most white people are willing to look at the true history of this nation and understand that while they personally may not have owned slaves or lynched black people or used black babies as alligator bait or conducted experiments on black people or operated on black women without pain medicine because they didn't think black women could feel pain, they are still benefiting off the society and systems that made those things possible. Racism is deeply rooted in this country from the beginning. We stole this land from the indigenous Native Americans. We brought black people to this country against their will and sold them into slaveries. We ripped their families apart. We have maligned, maimed, and misused the black community since the first ship arrived on the shores of the United States. Do you understand how hard the fight has been to get even a semblance of equality in this country? And now, what little progress we've made is being undone by this administration. Trump and this administration has made people like that woman and the many racist commenters on that post feel comfortable to speak so publicly about their racist views and feelings. Because, spoiler alert, nothing will happen to them. Black people are questioned about everything they do, even if they're just walking down the street. Until this country as a whole accepts responsibility for how we were designed and built, this country will never see true equality.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Furaha. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for making time to watch this video with us and interact in the comment section. I really appreciate each and every one of you for that. Now guys, on today's video we are discussing some of the most sensitive things that we usually talk about here. And on today's episode we're talking about white people that are actually not talking about being tired of black people. Now you have watched the video, you have seen what they are talking about, you have seen what they're complaining about. And they are basically talking about black people always complaining, you know. That is really the message of those videos that I have compiled for you, that they feel that black people are always complaining about, if it's not one thing, they're complaining about the other. And if they're not talking about slavery, they're talking about something else. If they're not talking about white privilege, they're talking about something else. Now, if you are keen and if you have been watching my videos over time, you definitely know that these are the kind of things that we talk over on here. And the reason why black people will always talk about, for example, if we're talking about slavery, or let's start with racism, for example. Now, black people are always talking about racism and the things that white people do to them, and the way that that affects them, the way that it has hurt them, the way it hurts their children, it hurts how they even, you know, deliver when they have things to do, for example, jobs and stuff like that. Now, the reason why black people will always talk about this is because racism has not ended. White people want black people to be quiet, but they are not willing to stop with the racism thing. They want black people to stop complaining, while at the same time, they black people are experiencing things that, you know, are detrimental to their mental health. You know, there's a lot of things that white people are still doing to this date that are very dangerous, and you know, the things that have actually made many of black people commit suicide. We're not talking about simple things that you can ignore. Yeah, we're talking about people being discriminated upon, being you know, not getting jobs, not getting enough money, not being paid well. Some black people are in jail as we speak right now. They're in jail for things they did not do. Now, these are not the kind of people that you expect and want to be quiet. These are not the kind of people that you want to silence here. And the only way that you will get black people to be silent, to be quiet, is by you changing behavior. Now, as long as you're just talking about being tired of black people and you're not changing your behavior, you're not making things work for black people, you're not giving black people opportunities, you're not making the lives of black people easier, yeah? As long as the situation is going to remain the same the way that it is right now, they will always talk about these things. We will always be here talking about them. You know, once you do something or your people do something to black people, we're going to talk about it, we're going to address it, we're going to make you feel uncomfortable about it, because that is exactly the point. You need to stop whatever you're doing to hurt black people. You know, when you're talking about white supremacy and white privilege, I know it might sound redundant to people that are not affected by it. It might sound as if black people are always complaining, they're always, you know, finding reasons and excuses to talk about things. But when you are on the receiving end of these things, you will definitely understand why this is essential and important for black people to talk about. Now, white privilege, white supremacy, racism, all these things affect the black person in ways that are unimaginable for white people. For white people, they think it's really merely about talking, merely about, you know, finding content. And some of them actually come to my comment section and say that we are always looking for things to talk about, we're always looking for things to just address, you know, even when there's really no problem. We're always finding an excuse to just make a video and make money out of that. Now, what you need to understand is the fact that if it's not affecting you directly, then don't be sure that it's not affecting the other person. If it wasn't affecting black people, then they wouldn't be watching these videos, they wouldn't be leaving comments on these videos. It is because the things that we talk about here are affecting them actively right now as we speak. And we will not stop talking about these things until there's change, until you people decide that it's time you stop with racism, that it's time you give people opportunities, you give them equal opportunities, you give them equal pay. You know, black people are hardworking. Now, you have created narratives about black people. For instance, when you talk about black people being very lazy, when you're talking about them not being able to be up to task when they're given some work to do. Now, what you are forgetting is the fact that these people have gone through way too much for them to get there. Now, the reason why black people will always talk about slavery is because someone once explained that the same way you carry your DNA, whatever qualities and characters that we're talking about, you know, how you carry your DNA from way back, from generations and generations before you. It's the same way that black people carry the trauma that was instilled in their ancestors, the trauma that was given to their forefathers. Yeah, they have carried that, and it has been carried forward over the years, and they still have it right now. Now, that is the same reason why they will still talk about racism, they will still talk about slavery, they will still talk about all the ills and atrocities that were committed by white people to black people. They will still talk about you people, white people, giving black children to your alligators as food, yeah? They will still talk about how you are not happy when black people are happy. They will talk about you not being able to just let black people be, you complaining about every good thing that happens to a black person. Now, when a black person achieves something, it's a problem. When they do not achieve something, it's a problem. When they are not doing anything at all, it's a problem. And when they're doing something, it's a problem. Now, what does that say about white people? And we're not talking about all white people. I am well aware of the people that are actually good and they're anti-racist, anti-racist, racist people that, you know, even stand up for white, for black people whenever there's a need to. Now, black people have gone through all these traumas, and for you to come out and say, you know, they need to be quiet about these things, for you to say they are supposed to be getting over it, you know, you cannot get over something that is still affecting you right now. If, for example, we were talking about racism or slavery that ended, then it would be different. And for as a matter of fact, slavery actually never ended. Slavery is still going on to this day, and it's just that it's not being done in the old fashion, it's being done in new ways. Yeah, neo colonialism, there's all those things that are still happening. Look at the systems, the way they are designed to make the black people down. The systems are made in such a manner that they are never going to put a black person in charge. They're never going to help black people to actualize the kind of life that they have wanted over time. Now, those systems that are working overtime to make sure that black people remain poor, those systems that are working overtime to make sure that black people are always the victims, they're always put down, they're always like not succeeding, and all those things. Those systems are still running, and for you to make black people stop talking about these things, stop complaining about these things, you first of all need to address that, because it's very insensitive of you to talk about black people not being quiet about the things that are happening to them. Well, the whole time there's nothing you're doing to make sure that the situation changes for them, that they become, you know, they live a better life, that they have a good experience with you people. Now, guys, I know you have your thoughts. You as a black person, as a white person, I know you have thoughts on this, and I'd like to know what you think about this. Now, do you think black people complain too much, and what do you think is the solution to this? Do you think that white people are being a bit very sensitive? Do you think they're being insensitive in the manner in which they address these things? Yeah. Now, guys, let me know what you think about that. Now, people that have not subscribed to my channel, I'm kindly requesting you to subscribe to my channel, be part of this amazing family. Let's journey together. And for those that have subscribed and have been here for some time now, I really appreciate each and every one of you for the support. You have been amazing, guys. You have shown me mad support, and I don't take that for granted. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Now, guys, like the video, give it a thumbs up, give it a super thanks, share to friends, family, people that are like-minded, people that would like to see this kind of content. And also remember to leave a comment. Yeah, leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. You know, most importantly, let me know what you think about this. And guys, I hope that you're also keeping safe from wherever you're watching me from. I hope that everything is running smooth today. I don't know what time you're watching me from. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And guys, I'll see you on my next video. Bye for now.